March 15th, 2023. You are now tuned in to a new episode of the BillyFai podcast. Thank y'all for taking time out of y'all day to listen what I got to say, and what I got to say is a lot. We got a jam-packed show today. Breaking news has just hit the airs about Aaron Rodgers. We're going to jump into that. We're going to talk NBA. We're going to talk NCAA. We're going to talk NFL free agency. And to close out the show, we're going to shout out to the ladies. That's right. March is Women's History Month, and we're going to talk about some very influential women in sports. Near and dear to my heart, and I hope it touches y'all as well. But again, welcome to the BillyFai podcast. This episode is brought to you by DTR. You can hear this episode at DTRabbithole.com. Down the Rabbit Hole Media is what it's brought to you by. Brought to you by Down the Rabbit Hole Media. You can also check this audio portion out on Spotify and the video portion on YouTube, on the BillyFai podcast on YouTube. But let's just jump right into it. I ain't going to hold y'all. We ain't going to talk about it too long. Aaron Rodgers just said on the Pat McAfee show that he intends to play for the New York Jets, something we already assumed and figured that he was going to say, all right? But the paperwork and everything, the trade still got to make sense. Green Bay, are they going to get what they want? The Jets, are you going to get what they want? Somebody's not going to be happy in this trade. That's just how negotiations go. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers came out of the darkness and has figured out that he intends to play for the New York Jets next season. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. I don't care. Glad he finally had that to say. He been on this, wants to drag it on. He wants to lead the world on his little way, his little path. Who cares? Aaron Rodgers intends to play for the New York Jets. Something we all knew. Whatever. That's all I got to say about it. Now, more to important news. NBA, got to take the glasses off because we got a lot to jump into. We're going to start off by talking about, my New York Knicks, who just finished a 4-game road trip, lost the first 2 games to Sacramento and the Los Angeles Clippers, won the last 2 games and beating the Los Angeles Lakers, and last night the Portland Trail Blazers finished 2-2, stayed the number 5 seed in the East, are going back home with 11 games to go, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks are in 5th place in the East with 11 games to go, 41 games won, 30 lost, a league-high 22 games won on the road. Best in the NBA. I'm very happy right now. We're going to close out these 11 games and see where we're going to be in the East. 2 of those 11 games are against teams that are locked or 1 through 6 in the playoffs. We got 11 games left. Only 2 teams that we have to play against are in the top 6 seed in their conference. Saturday is our next game, and we play the Denver Nuggets, who's number 1 in the West. And at the end of the month, we play the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are a game above us right now in the East. So a lot can change between now and then, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we bring our man Jalen Brunson back. Miles Deuce McBride had a career game last night. But I woke up to something that kind of disturbed me. Let's talk about the game last night real quick. 3 guys with 20 points, and Barrett, Randall, and Quickly. Again, Deuce had 18 coming off the bench. Obi Toppin had 11 coming off the bench. Knicks played very well the last 2 games. They started off slow in Portland, but they picked up the pace. The bench was a spark again. RJ Barrett, he didn't really hit a lot of jump shots, but he kept driving the ball in the paint. Julius Randle was off, but the team picked him up. Emmanuel Quickly had a great night. Again, Obi Toppin came in there and hit 3 threes. Deuce McBride was 4 for 5 for threes. Very big. Josh Hart damn near had a triple-double himself in his return to Portland. The Knicks are looking good right now. A very favorable schedule to go back to end the season. Like I said, the last 11 games, 5 are at home, 6 on the road. 6 are at home, 5 are on the road. The Knicks are the best road team in the league. It's looking real good. But I woke up to something that kind of disturbed me today. This morning I woke up to a tweet, not a tweet, it was on Snapchat. Mitchell Robinson, very unhappy about his playing time lately, especially last night. He's only played 21 minutes and he's out there, feel like he's just doing cardio and he's sick of it. Well, Mitchell Robinson, I will say this, and for y'all that don't know, Mitchell Robinson did sign an extension in the offseason this year, last year to stay with the New York Knicks. I think it was like 4 years, 60 mil, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I seen his frustration Sunday night against the Lakers. And there was a couple of plays I was sitting on this couch right here watching the game, pissed off at Mitchell Robinson because Anthony Davis was kind of bullying him a little bit. I'm like, damn, Mitch, come on, Mitch. Get the shit together, Mitch. Get the rebound, Mitch. Let's go, Mitch. Mitch wasn't giving enough physicality. He let Anthony Davis get a couple of easy bunnies without contesting it. So in comes Isaiah Hartenstein. Hartenstein was playing big minutes, big spark off the bench. Again, that bench play led us to Julius Randle had a kind of revenge game, so to speak. He had 2 games in a row. Had a bad shooting night against the Clippers the day before that. Came out, faced his former team, the team that drafted him in the Lakers, and went ham. What he's been doing most of the year. Isaiah Hartenstein had his hands in everything. Loose balls, rebounds, defensive presence, physicality. Tibbs finished the game with Hartenstein. I noticed that, and I noticed a little frustration by Mitch on the bench. He tweeted then, after that game, something to the lines of, "You guys will see." You know what I'm saying? He was frustrated. So then comes last night. Didn't have a great game, nothing to woo about. Hartenstein comes in. Hartenstein's last 2 games, 0 points, 22 rebounds. He knows the assignment. No foul trouble. Mitch, hate to say it, Hartenstein's playing better than you right now. So, closing out the season, Tibbs is going to go with the lineup that's getting to where we're at toward the end of the game and closing out with certain people who he just feel comfortable with during that game. It's happened to R.J. Barrett a couple of times this year when R.J. was playing like ass, and he sat R.J. on the bench, closed out with Grimes or whoever. R.J. didn't like it. If y'all don't know Tibbs by now, if you don't bust your ass for him, if you're doing something that he doesn't like, guess what? You're not going to play. This is nothing new. This is not breaking news. Tom Thibodeau has been doing this since the end of time. But I will say this. Tom Thibodeau seems to be having the most fun I've ever seen him as a head coach. I haven't seen him smile this much in Chicago. I didn't see him smile this much when he was an assistant coach with Boston. I definitely didn't see him smile at all in Minnesota. It kind of reminds me of the New York Giants 2007 squad. It was Michael Strahan's last year. I think it was his 15th year. And it was training camp. And the guys were trying to loosen up Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin, the 2-time Super Bowl winning coach for the New York Giants. Real stern, like military-ish tactics and discipline as far as the team. And they was like, man, Tom, loosen up. And, he was listening more to veterans. He was listening more to the guys who's been around the game and with the organization a long time. Listening more to people like Strahan and front office folks a little bit. Not necessarily the front office, but just veterans on the field. Tom was the kind of guy who didn't give a damn what the front office said. He's going to do it his way and his way only, but he loosened up a little bit. I feel that way about Tom Thibodeau. He's very stern, very, stubborn and old school. He likes what he likes and he wants stuff how he wants it. And these guys have loosened him up a little bit. Even Randall's not playing with the same anger that he usually plays with. He tells you that. Yeah, he had a little spat in the Clippers game. Whatever. Okay, I get it. It happens. But you can tell Randall is playing with a more mental focus, a more peace, a more calm, a more enjoyable aspect and approach to the game. I think that's how Tom Thibodeau is coaching this year. He's more relaxed. He's more calm. And it's rubbing off on the guy. It's a tight-knit group. But Mitchell Robinson, when you are not getting your way and stuff isn't going your way, don't take to social media, man, because that can create tension and it can be causing a divide. Again, you guys have won 11 of your last 14. You're going places and places that the Knicks organization hasn't been in a long time. Knicks fans haven't felt this way in a long time. We have the chance to make a run. And right now we have to take the approach, why not us? I'm not saying Mitchell Robinson isn't in, but I'm just saying he's on the bench at the end of games, or he's not getting enough minutes because he's being outplayed by the guy that's sitting behind him. Isaiah Hartenstein ain't putting up a whole bunch. He's not filling all the numbers in the stat sheet, but he's playing harder. He's playing with more effort. It is what it is. So that kind of bothered me when I saw that this morning about Mitchell Robinson putting that on Snapchat or wherever I saw it at. Somebody, he feel like he's just getting cardio out there. What you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You gonna whine? Or you gonna step up to the challenge? Because right now, this guy behind you is playing harder than you are, Mitchell Robinson. Get the shit together. Start hitting free throws. Don't get in foul trouble. Get these rebounds. You've been getting double-doubles and you've been doing your thing since you come back from injury, but lately you're complaining about what's happening lately. And lately, Isaiah Hartenstein is playing better basketball than you are, Mitchell Robinson. So what are you going to do? You going to sit there and cry about it? You're going to fix it. The next game, the Knicks have a nice couple of days off and hopefully get Jalen Brunson back. The next game is not until Saturday against the Denver Nuggets, who they already beat in Denver. But Jokic did not play that game. Denver right now is on a current 4-game losing streak. Earlier this year, when Nikola Jokic had a triple-double, the team was 22-0. During his 4-game losing streak, he has had 2 triple-doubles and the team has lost. Again, they're on a 4-game losing streak, still having a nice little comfortable lead in the West, but they're not looking good right now. And with them having a 4-game losing streak, this is a segue to where we're going now, and it's the MVP race. And right now, if we're talking about the MVP and the season ended, because this is a regular season award, I think Joel Embiid has taken over the MVP race. He is now the front runner. And I will tell you why. He just played Jokic a couple weeks ago in Philly, beat them head to head. He just played Giannis earlier in the week, beat them head to head. Joel Embiid's last 5 games, 34, 8-4, 39, 7-4, 39, 7-4, 42, 9-3, 31, 6-11. They won all 5 of those games, have won 7 out of their last 10. And again, in that time, has beaten the Milwaukee Bucks in the head-to-head with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And as a matter of fact, they played Milwaukee twice this year and beat them both times and have one more game against them later on next month. They've already got the tiebreaker. They beat Milwaukee 2 out of 3 times. Milwaukee has a 4-game lead over Philly in the standings, but they have a 1 game. They're behind Boston 1 game for the number 2 seed in the East. And they play Boston again early next month. Now, with that being said, them playing Boston has beaten Philadelphia 5 out of the last 7 games, plus the only 2 encounters they played this year. Like, since Boston has drafted Jason Tatum, they own Philly. They own Philly. But let's talk about Joel Embiid and the MVP race some more. The last 2 times the MVP's been handed out, it's been going to Nikola Jokic. In 2020, Embiid finished 2nd. Last year, Embiid finished, in 2020, in 2020, he finished 2nd. Last year, Embiid finished 3rd. Jokic won both. He could be the first player since Larry Bird to win 3 back-to-back MVPs. But it's a regular season award, but it's time to start holding Nikola Jokic's feet to the fire because you got to do more now to get Denver at the first round. Same with Embiid. You got to do more to get Philly at that second round. Y'all lost in the first round last year. You lost in the second round 2 years ago. And I've been saying it. I'm sick of Doc Rivers not achieving with good teams, especially when it comes to the playoffs. But when Embiid came in second place 2 years ago, Philly won 49 games. They lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals to Atlanta, and they had home court advantage. Last year, they won 51 games. They lost to Miami 4-2 in the first round. Right now, the Philadelphia 76ers have 45 wins with 15 games to go. These are very favorable matchups for them to eclipse the 51 wins they had last year. They have a great chance to finish the number 2 seed in the East and potentially get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't care about, I'm not talking about playoffs right now. But if they finish, they cannot finish no lower than 2, and Giannis does not get the MVP. I'm sorry, Embiid. Embiid does not get the MVP. Joel Embiid led the league in scoring last year at 30 points a game, the first center to win the scoring title since Shaquille O'Neal. Joel Embiid averages 33 points a game right now. He's leading the league in score, again, percentage points over Luka Doncic. If the Philadelphia 76ers finish the 2 seed in the East, Joel Embiid is your MVP. And the way Boston is slumping right now, losing to Houston Rockets, this Boston Celtics team, I don't care if it's Emi Udoka coaching. I don't care if it's Joe Mazzulla coaching. You don't be an NBA title contender and you lose to the Houston Rockets. I'm sorry. I know these things happen, but it seems like Boston been losing to bad teams all year, and you can't have that. Boston came out the gates being the best team in the NBA for the majority of the year. Since the All-Star break, Boston looks pretty average right now. Milwaukee has caught them. They have gained a sizable lead in the East, and Philly is 1 game behind them, like I said. Joel Embiid finishes number 2 in the East. He is your MVP. If he finishes 3 or less, he won't win MVP. It'll be between Giannis and Joker. But right now, the head-to-head matchups, Embiid, you have better numbers than Giannis head-to-head. You have beaten Milwaukee 2 out of 2 times you guys have played. 1 in Philly, 1 in Milwaukee, which is huge. You have to finish 2 in the East for you to win MVP. Again, it's a regular season award. We'll talk postseason here later on down the line because I want to see Philly at least get to the. You have to. I'm a Knicks fan. Man, I'm a Knicks fan. I want my Knicks. But Philly has to get to the Eastern Conference Finals for it to be somewhat of a successful year. If they're thinking championship or bust in the locker room, that's fine. Great. Can you beat Boston in a 7-game series? Could have been smacking y'all upside the head lately. Can you beat Milwaukee in a 7-game series? I understand you beat them twice so far this season, but the regular season means nothing when it's playoff time. The Philadelphia 76ers have to finish second for Joel Embiid to win the MVP this year. Or they're going to find no way to give the Joker, and then we're going to have everybody complaining, oh, Joel should have won it. Joel should have won it. It's time. It's over with the should-haves. Right now, you're the front runner. Stay the front runner. You're hitting buzzer beater jump shots now. You're beating other MVPs. Giannis is a 2-time MVP. Joker is a 2-time MVP. You've just beaten both of them guys head-to-head in the last 10 matchups. It's Joel Embiid's time to win MVP. And right now, he is the front runner. He's the front runner in my eyes, and he should be the front runner in the voters' eyes. And with less than a month to go in the season, his team needs to finish second in the East, and he'll win the MVP. Don't finish third. Don't finish third. And don't finish under third. You definitely won't win the MVP. But I think, in my humble opinion, if they finish second in the Eastern Conference, they will win MVP. Joel Embiid will win MVP. He's got the numbers. We all know he has the numbers. And we all know he's not winning because he doesn't have the numbers. I think it's because of team success in the regular season. It's team success. Yes, Joker's throwing up triple doubles and all that stuff. He's also picking and choosing a lot of games when not to participate in scoring. I'm not saying that he's stat pattern. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he just had a 35-point triple-double the other night and they still lost. But when he doesn't score that much, they happen to win games a little bit. I don't know. Denver is a peculiar team. I still don't think that the West is very awkward. Like, people are still saying Golden State can win. They can't win on the road, but they're still giving them a chance. Like, the West is a tight race, especially from the 3 spot or the 4 spot all the way to 13th or whatever. And just because it's tight don't mean it's good. Like, the Western Conference isn't that good. There's certain teams in the East, if they was in the West, a lot of these guys we're talking about in the West wouldn't even be talked about right now as far as records go. The West isn't that good. You have Denver that's up. Denver's the number 1 seed, and they're still not respected because they haven't really done nothing in their playoffs. They went to the Western Conference Finals in the bubble, but there you go. There's the bubble. Nobody's giving nobody credit what happened in the bubble. People don't even really talk about the Los Angeles Lakers winning championship in the bubble like that because it's the bubble. People weren't respecting the bubble. We watched it as fans, but did we respect it as the bubble? No. It was like pickup games in the same gym. Whatever the case may be. It's the bubble. Denver ain't done shit since the bubble. You're getting smacked by Golden State in the second round. You got beat up last year in the first round. Denver and Philly are probably like the same. What are y'all going to do when it's come playoff time? At least Denver did make it past the second round, Philly. Even though it was the bubble, they made it past the second round. But what are you going to do when it's time to go for that ring? Denver's not getting the respect. Memphis ain't doing nothing because their whole story, the rest of their season being predicated, I'm talking about John Morant. They're missing too many pieces. You're missing Steven Adams, who was big. You're missing Brandon Clark, who is big. You probably got the defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson. That's cool. But is he going to stay out of foul trouble? Can Desmond Bane lead this Memphis Grizzlies team deep into the playoffs? I don't think so. Dylan Brooks is a... Stop. Dylan Brooks, stop. Okay? Tyus Jones is pretty cool, but no. So, I don't know. Memphis ain't going to do nothing. Sacramento look like the most consistent team in the West. Then people are going to talk about experience. Oh, they've never been there before. This, that, and the other. We'll see. Mike Brown has been there before, though. But the players haven't been there before. And it does mean a little something when the players haven't been there before. But we'll see. But Sacramento's a good team. Highest scoring team in the league. 2 All-Stars, De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis leading the charge. We'll see what happens out there with Sacramento. Phoenix Suns. Can Kevin Durant finally come play for Phoenix when he stopped having these freak accidents? I mean, it wasn't his fault. He slipped and turned the ankle on the floor, but now it's starting to become an issue. He's getting that little Anthony Davis juice. He's getting hurt every 3 weeks. Devin Booker, the only one out there playing. Chris Paul is not here. Chris Paul, it's almost time to hang it up. Because you pick and choose when you start to shoot now. I had a buddy tell me a couple weeks ago, man, he was like, Phoenix Suns will be successful if Chris Paul becomes Chris Paul again and he has to shoot the ball more. I said, man, you're stupid. Chris Paul is a floor general. He's not doing that. Man, since that statement, I've been completely wrong. I've watched Chris Paul the last few times on TV. He looks like a shell of himself right now. Chris Paul looks like a shell. He looks old. He looks old. Devin Booker can't do it by himself. DeAndre Ayton, probably one of the most overrated big men in the game. Yes, I said it. DeAndre Ayton, there's no way he should be only averaging like 17 and 11. DeAndre Ayton is better than that. He can be better than that. No, you know what? I know what the problem is. DeAndre Ayton ain't got no dog in him. DeAndre Ayton has no dog in him. He got the most dog I've seen DeAndre Ayton has when he's arguing with this damn coach, Monty Williams. Other than that, it doesn't translate to the floor. Man, Ain't no way, DeAndre. I have Phoenix coming out the West, but I thought it's because Durant was going to be on the floor. Now I'm not going to lie. I don't know who can come out the West. I don't know. You don't know what you're going to get out the Clippers. The world wants the Lakers to make it, but we'll see. I mean, you just don't know about the Western Conference. It's not good. It's not good. Like I said, Denver's number one, and they're not getting no respect from nobody. The fight is in the East. The dogs are in the East. But we'll see about that. But Joel Embiid, front runner for MVP. Don't finish less than second, Joel Embiid. Do not finish less than second. We'll see. Moving on to the NFL. NFL free agency started yesterday, and teams can actually start signing their contracts as it's today at 4 o'clock Eastern time. A lot of trades, a lot of moves have been happening. My New York Football Giants traded for Darren Waller, the all-pro tight end for the former Las Vegas Raiders. Ladies and gentlemen, I love the pick. I absolutely love the trade. Joe Shane, doing your thing. Joe Shane, keep doing your thing. I love it. Darren Waller, I need a healthy Darren Waller. Give me a healthy Darren Waller, and we got a major target for Daniel Jones. Major target. You set yourselves up for the NFL draft, New York Giants. That's what I'm talking about. You saw Bobby Corgi, I think is his name. I never knew how to pronounce his name, but he was a good linebacker. He was Shaq Leonard's running mate in the linebacker spot here in Indianapolis. We stole him for a 4-year deal. Re-signed Sterling Shepard, a big locker room guy. Re-signed Matt Breida. Got our kicker. Got our long snapper. Franchise tag Saquon. Let's get that deal done. Sexy Dex. Let's get that deal done. New York Giants looking good. New York Giants looking good. All right. While them team up there in Philly, they lose a lot of folks. Dallas is also traded for Stephon Gilmore. Big acquisition in the secondary. That's huge. But they also cut Ezekiel Elliott. Hurts my soul, Dallas Cowboys. Hurts my soul. No, it doesn't. I don't give a damn. But we all saw this coming with Zeke anyway. And this goes back to my thing about Saquon and paying running backs top dollar. Dallas Cowboys did not get their money's worth when it came to Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, yeah, he gave you a couple of touchdowns from the 20 here and there. But Ezekiel Elliott wasn't the same Zeke once he got that money. You pay that running back top dollar, it's feast or famine. You don't really know. I mean, it could go either way. But with that being said, the New York Giants have put themselves in position to still have cap money to negotiate a deal with Saquon and entertain the $14 million. When you get $14 million, I don't know. I do think he'll get about 13. But we'll see. But let's get it done, man. Let's not have Saquon play frustrated. Let's get this deal done, man, so we don't have that lingering, so we can keep building for the future. Have a good draft. I want that boy Jordan Addison out of USC. I want that receiver Jordan Addison out of USC. I like that receiver out of Boston College as well. But I want Jordan Addison. If we can get Jordan Addison out of USC, big things popping. But again, I started the show talking about Aaron Rodgers going to the New York Jets. And yesterday he put out a wish list. So there was a report of a wish list. I don't know when he put it out, but a report came out yesterday of a wish list Aaron Rodgers would have if he were to play for the New York Jets, which he did say he intended to do about an hour ago on the Pat McAfee show. Now, the New York Jets, they signed a big fish, especially one of Aaron Rodgers' liking, which is Alan Lazard. They signed him. But on that list was also a Mercedes Lewis, Randall Cobb, and an Odell Beckham Jr. I understand the Odell. Rodgers has been wanting Odell for a few years. Why he's just not saying something publicly, I don't know. Maybe they could have got that done in Green Bay years ago, but we're here now. Why you still want Randall Cobb, Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I know y'all good friends, but Randall Cobb, come on, bro. Let him go. It's over. It's over. I know y'all friends, you trying to be loyal and stuff, but stop it, man. Mercedes Lewis, stop it, man. Aaron Rodgers loves to control the narrative. And the Jets, they have a good team, and he's going to come, and the Jets fans are excited. But guess what? A couple things. One, this is only for this year. I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers is gone. Y'all wanted to go through this fiasco, y'all go right ahead. But this is only for this year. I think he's going to be done after this year. Two, you guys do not know what kind of monster you're bringing in. Green Bay has created a monster. And now Aaron Rodgers, for the first time in his career, is possibly going to play for a football team that has a boss. Because, Green Bay Packers, they don't have an owner. The community and the taxpayers, they own Green Bay. So GM that's about it. Team president. They don't have an owner in Green Bay. Woody Johnson is for the owner for the New York Jets. He's very, very, very involved on what goes on in day-to-day activities for the New York Jets. Joe Douglas, I like Joe Douglas. He does big things over there for the New York Jets. I'm a Giants fan, but I'm a football fan first. I'm an NFL fan first. All right, so when I talk about my rival team across the hall, the New York Jets, hey, rent's almost due to New York Jets. Hey, I can be unbiased about it. They're doing big things over there in Jets land. They had two guys who could have won Offensive Rookie of the Year in Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Breece Hall tore his ACL. At the time, he was one of the top dogs in rushing as a rookie. They had a Defensive Rookie of the Year in Sauce Gardner. Remember when they beat Green Bay? He was walking around with the cheese head, and Alan Zarr came and ripped it off his head. Now they teammates and hoping to bring their quarterback on. So hey, the New York Packers, the Green Bay Jets. I don't know, call it what it is. But Aaron Rodgers, now you about to enter a gauntlet. We're about to see what you really got. If all this talk you've been talking, you done went to the darkness retreat, came out and then spoke to you and said, I want to play in New York. I want to go to the AFC where Patrick Mahomes is at, where Josh Allen is at, where Joe Burrow is at, where Justin Herbert is at. Boy, you got some competition in the AFC, Aaron Rodgers. This ain't the NFC North. Well, you just got to worry about Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff. This ain't it. And Justin Fields. This is the AFC. With dogs. I'm talking, let me say it again. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Got dogs in the AFC, sir. Straight animals. And your division, oh my God. Y'all don't know what's going on in the AFC East right now. Everybody is putting teams together like they got a chance. Buffalo, perennial powerhouse. Miami, with Tua when healthy. Remember, Miami Dolphins were 8-3 before Tua started, scrambled eggs up here start get messed up. Tua got them scrambled eggs, boy. As soon as you hit him, remember the first time during the season he got hit, he was throwing up gang signs in Cincinnati. Tua's like a couple of hits away from be a serious problem. But Miami has invested in him. Miami's giving him an extension. Miami has said it publicly. Tua is our guy. So when healthy, Tua is cold. And they just got Jalen Ramsey, traded for Bradley Chubb last year. They just re-signed all their receivers in the backfield. Tyreek's still here. What's my man on the other side? Not Jerry Jeudy. My man from Alabama is still here. Waddle. Jalen Waddle's still here. Now, we're going to do it with Mike Gesicki. I don't know. We'll see. But Miami was 8-3 before Tua got hurt. It was number one in the AFC for a little bit. We'll see. Then you got the Jets. The Jets, they're pretty good. They got a pretty good roster. I don't know about the Patriots. Now, the Patriots, they can just, I don't know what Belichick going to do. He said about Belichick. He said he talks during press conferences and stuff. Yeah, we did okay this time. Yeah, I don't know about Patriots. Patriots reaping what they sow right now. They're just an afterthought right now. But Aaron Rodgers, you sure you want that work? Welcome to the dark side. Good luck. Good luck. But in other free agency news around the NFL, like I said, certain teams have been moving in group. Man, Detroit Lions have signed David Montgomery, and there should be a lot more signings today. But that's the big news of the day in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers says he intends to play for the New York Jets. I guess everybody, the two sides have to make something happen. And who knows? Green Bay can be waiting until the NFL draft to get this done. Maybe they want multiple first-round picks from New York Jets. Who knows? But we will see. The other news after this all quiets down will still be Lamar Jackson. Teams aren't touching Lamar Jackson right now because they don't believe that Baltimore is really going to give him up. I mean, this is why as soon as they put the non-exclusive tag on him, certain teams around the NFL made it be known we're not interested in Lamar Jackson. Atlanta said no. Miami said no. New England said no. Washington said no. There were like so many teams to say no because they know if they even call Lamar Jackson and try to put an offer out there, Baltimore is going to match it. So they're not even messing. They're not entertaining it. And right now, it's Baltimore sticking it to Lamar pretty much. Lamar should be playing. Lamar should have a contract, the whole nine. I've said it numerous times. This could have been done 2 years ago. If Lamar had a contract, he would have played in the final games in the season and played in that playoff game. So I don't know. It's an ugly situation in Baltimore right now. So we will see. Austin Eckler has requested a trade from the Los Angeles Chargers. The money's not right. I think he doesn't want to play for Kellen Moore. I forgot until later on today, and talking to a couple of my friends, Kellen Moore took the offensive coordinator job right after he got fired from Dallas. Austin Eckler probably feels like if Kellen Moore is my offensive coordinator, I need to be paid top dollar. Couple of things is they asked Austin Eckler to wait. He waited. As a running back, don't wait. Try to get your money. Yes, you were a backup for a couple of years, but you've been leading the league in touchdowns ever since you was not the backup. Get your money, bruh. Get it now. Don't wait because the running back doesn't have time to wait. 2, if you're going to request a trade for the Chargers, then leave. Because once you do it, we've seen this with the Chargers in recent years, a la Melvin Gordon, LaDainian Tomlinson. Once you cross that line with the Chargers, there's no going back. The Chargers are kind of like gangsters in their front office. They don't want you. Once you request a trade, it's almost like you betrayed them in some sort of way. Also, Eckler, go get your money, bro. Get a bag from somewhere, because it's a sucker born every minute. Somebody's going to throw you that bag. The thing is, are you going to have the same success you had in L.A. somewhere else? Because you are a dual threat. But, you know, certain situations are made for certain folks. But again, with Kellen Moore coming in, you never know. So, get your money. But that's all we got for the NBA news today. Moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, March is Women's History Month. So I think instead of going through my normal segment of what's bothering me, we show love to close out the show. And we talk about influential women in sports. We're not going to rank these women. We're not going to talk about who's the top 5 most influential women in sports. We're not going to put a number beside them. But we're just going to talk about women since I've been watching sports and since I've been accustomed to it, who have impacted their certain craft. And women are doing a thing. Been doing a thing for a long time. And one of the best times of the year is the NCAA tournament. Oh, my God. I forgot to talk about the NCAA tournament, but we're going to get into that. Don't worry about it. Let's go on to the women. Don't want to put the women on the back burner. We're going to talk about the women now, and then I'll lead up to the NCAA tournament. I am so sorry. Forgive me, folks, okay? But we're going to talk about these women. Women, and right now, like I said, with the NCAA tournament going on, man, it's a great time for women to be recognized on the grandest stage. This is probably the grandest stage women have is the college basketball NCAA tournament. My eyes, I think it's bigger than the WNBA playoffs. Almost as big as women's soccer in this country. The NCAA tournament is so fun for the men and the women, but especially the women because women they get put on the back burner a lot, especially when it comes down to sports. But lately, women are starting to take over everything. You're starting to see women in the front office in sports. You're starting to see women on the field in football. You should have a women manager. New York Yankees have a women manager in one of their farm leagues. There's women taking over sports. The WNBA is loved throughout this country and overseas and everywhere in the world. Women's basketball is loved. Women's soccer is loved. So many women have influenced sports, it does not matter. For an example, let's talk about Venus and Serena. Venus and Serena, and without Althea Gibson, there's no Venus and Serena. Althea Gibson broke the color barrier for tennis back in 1956, won about 5 majors, led the way to what Venus and Serena are today. Serena, before Venus, was a powerhouse, 6 majors. Behind Althea Gibson was the first black female to top the #1 ranking in the Open era. Then came along Serena, who was 1 Grand Slam title away from being #1 all time, but she couldn't do it. She tried so many times, and we all rooted for her. But Serena just changed the game of tennis for everybody. The most dominant person in tennis ever. Probably one of the most dominant not dominant woman in tennis, probably one of the most dominant players in tennis ever. Serena Williams, her tenacity, her strength, she changed the game. Changed the game in a fashion sense. Serena has changed the game, period. Pat Summitt, one of the greatest college coaches of all time. I didn't say one of the greatest female college coaches of all time. One of the greatest college coaches of all time. 8 national titles for the University of Tennessee, 16 SEC titles. She has coached legends. Tamika Catchings, WNBA champion. Shamika Holdsclaw, the all-time leader in University of Tennessee women's basketball and scoring. Candace Parker, Kara Lawson, the list go on and on and on. Pat Summitt was Coach K before Coach K. She was Phil Jackson before Phil Jackson. She was Red Auerbach of the women's game. The rivalry she had with Gino Auriemma and the UConn Huskies, Gino Auriemma would not have built a powerhouse in Connecticut if it wasn't for Pat Summitt building a powerhouse in Tennessee. When you say University of Tennessee, you think 2 things. You think Peyton Manning and you think women's basketball. And women's basketball was there before Peyton got there. They were a powerhouse before Peyton. That's a fact. Pat Summitt, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Probably one of the greatest basketball players that the world did not get a chance to see on a grandest stage was Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's older sister. Cheryl Miller was probably the greatest female basketball player of all time. I never forget the story, man. Reggie Miller told it one time. Growing up, man, it was going to high school. When it was in high school in California. Reggie gets in the car, and he couldn't beat his sister Cheryl or nothing, man. He's like, yeah. How y'all doing, man? Hey, how you do tonight, man? I scored 40. And the dad and Cheryl Miller in the front seat, and they're just smickering and laughing, like, yeah, what's going on? Why y'all? I scored 40. How'd you do? She's like, yeah, that's cool. I scored 105. It's like, what? Cheryl Miller scored 105 in high school basketball game, ladies and gentlemen. This is back in the 80s. Cheryl Miller was that. She was it. And it's a shame because, like I said, the world didn't get to see her in the WNBA because I believe she'd have been the greatest ever. Cheryl Miller, so many women today, man. You got Billie Jean King. You got Ronda Rousey. You got Florence Griffith Joyner, FloJo, another one. She died tragically in her sleep when she was 30 years old due to seizures, but she was a trendsetter. She broke world records at the Olympics, multiple gold medals, couple of world records at the time. I mean, there was just so many women who influenced sports today. Y'all know how I know sports? Y'all know who got me into sports? Was my mother. Betty Faison. I know most guys don't say that. You know, they especially living in a two-parent household, man, be the fathers who get the boys in sports and stuff. It's my mom. I know majority of my sports knowledge because of my mother, who was the biggest North Carolina Tar Heel fan in the world. To this day, I go home, me and my mom, we will sit there and watch sports all day. My mom influenced me to who I am today for my sports knowledge. I watched old school Knicks games because of my mother. I was in there in the room with the chicken pox when Reggie Miller scored them 9 points in 8 seconds, and she was in the other room screaming mad. My mother got me into sports. Betty Sue Faison. One of the most influential women in my life because of sports. My sister, another one, played sports and what made me want to play sports. I used to go to her volleyball and basketball games. Thought the stuff was cool. When people used to cheer her name when she made a shot and whatever, she had the whole gym up in the stands. When she spiked the ball in volleyball, everybody was cheering for her. She was on the stage, the grand stage, and I loved it. My sister. So I have an appreciation for women in sports. I do. And I think there's so much going on today, man. You got to show love to the women in sports, man, because you see them all around sports now. Even if they're playing, they're reporting, they're broadcasting it. Like I said, they're in the front office now. They're coaching it, trainers, the whole nine. Women are just as involved in sports as we are. The XFL, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Everybody gets in credit for the XFL. It was his business partner, who is his ex-wife, his daughter's mother, when his kid gave him the idea to invest in the XFL and charge it up one more time, third time's the charm. It was her, former bodybuilder. It was her idea for The Rock to invest in the XFL, and now they are teamed together, and it looks like it's doing good right now. I haven't watched it myself. It's the XFL. There's only one football in this country. But however, she still has her hand in the pot. If you watch ESPN Sports Center, you see how many females are reporting the sports over there. Sports is everywhere, and females have their footprint on all over it. And I just felt like it was a good opportunity for me to show love to all the females that has something to do with sports, because a lot of females don't like sports. Let's just call it what it is. A lot of females don't like sports. Some females will entertain sports because of their significant other. Be like, okay, yeah. But there's a lot of females who do love sports. And just those few women I named, there's a lot more, and I didn't mean to leave none out. But like Cheryl Miller, the Serenas and the Venus, the Pat Summits, the Billie Jean Kings, Martina Navratilovas, the Steffi Grafs, the Lindsey Vonns, the Ronda Rouseys, the Layla Ali's. There's so many women today that does their thing and have done their thing and paved the way for others. Leah Boston, a young lady who plays for South Carolina Gamecocks right now, is trying to get back-to-back national championships. Rebecca Lobo, who was a perennial powerhouse at UConn, was one of Gio Armand's first major stars at the University of Connecticut. There's so many women out there, man, that does their thing. And, thank you. Because without y'all, I wouldn't be talking most of the sports I'm talking right now. Some of y'all be reporting the news. Is where I'm getting my sports knowledge from. So thank you for that, too. And let's give a shout out to the ladies, man, because like I said, it is Women's Month, but every day is Women's Month. Every day is Women's Day. So there it is on that. Now, closing out the show, we're going to talk about the NCAA tournament real quick, man. Fill out y'all brackets. The NCAA tournament starts tomorrow. The defending national champion Kansas Jayhawks are one of the 4 number 1 seeds, along with Alabama, the tournament favorite Houston Cougars, and the Purdue Boilermakers. But ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you my Final Four. Alabama, Marquette, Texas, and UConn. Yes, indeed. I know a lot of people have Arizona. I have Alabama beating Arizona in the regional. A lot of people think Duke is one of the hottest teams in the tournament, and they are. They've won 9 straight going into the tournament, including the ACC championship. But I just think Shaka Smart has something going. I think Shaka Smart got something going on up there in Marquette. They just won the Big East title, tournament title. They won the Big East regular season and tournament title. Became a number 2 seed in the tournament. I think they beat Duke in that East Regional to make it to Houston. I like the UConn Huskies. UConn's been up and down all year. One time they was riding high number 1. Then they faltered a little bit. And they starting to find their groove now. They lost to Marquette, matter of fact, in the Big East final. But I think they beat UCLA. I think they beat Kansas in that regional, in that West Regional, and make it out of there and make it to the Final Four. And I think Shaka Smart makes it. Shaka Smart's old team, and Texas Longhorns, they make it. And I think they have the most favorable bracket by a little bit. I don't think they see Houston. I think they beat Houston because the Final Four is in Houston, Texas. But I think Texas has the better team. Plus, their All-American Sasser, he's got a groin injury. I think that's how they lost against Memphis for the American Conference title. They still got the number 1 seed, and they're still favored to win the tournament. But I like Texas, man. Rodney Perry took over Chris Beard. Chris Beard had the alleged domestic violence issue with the Texas Longhorns as the former Texas Longhorns coach. They let him go in January. He now took the job in Ole Miss a couple days ago. And just take the interim tag off Rodney Perry, man. Give him the job in Texas. But don't worry. When he makes it to the national championship game, which I do have them going against Alabama, and I have Texas winning the whole thing in Houston, Rodney Perry will get the interim tag taken off, and that will be his job. So, yes, I have Alabama, Marquette, Texas, and UConn. If you pay attention, Alabama is the only number 1 seed I have going to the Final Four. But I have them losing the national championship game against the Texas Longhorns in Houston, Texas on April 3rd. I just think it's a little bit of home field advantage for Texas to make it to the Final Four, and I think that crowd is going to be riding high. They're going to yell hook 'em horns all weekend, and they will take the national championship in Texas. The Texas Longhorns will defeat the Alabama Crimson Tide 81-77. 2 collegiate football schools going at it in basketball for the national championship. Man, I appreciate y'all today. Thank y'all for tuning into the BillyFai podcast. Again, you can hear this on dtrabbithole.com. Down the Rabbit Hole Media is where this episode is brought to you by. Again, on Spotify, and the video portion will be on my YouTube page. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Check me out next week for another brand new episode of the BillyFai podcast. Peace.